Hey guys, just jumping back on here again. Back on, keeping it moving. Episode 214 of the Can You Chronicles podcast. That's what you're listening to. And who you're listening to right now, making a bunch of noise, is Nate, aka Crash. That's my name, Nate. Go by Crash if you want to call me. Properly nickname from Gabe Morency. So if you wonder what the hell is Crash, what did that come up? How did that come up? Yeah, just think of knocking over something. That's basically how it came about. It was me doing it. So I've told that story before, but I'll tell it another time. Right now, maybe a little later in the podcast. But anyways, how you doing? I hope it's good where you're at. Whether you're training for a marathon, just trying to get to work in some traffic like me right now, on the bus, on the train, maybe you're flying. Maybe you're flying to a vacation you're going on, or coming back from a vacation, or a number of things. So thank you so much for listening. Or maybe you're out there just working at home somewhere, or on the farm, wherever you're at. Thank you so much for your listenership, continued listenership. If you've listened for, some time now, I really appreciate it. If you didn't know, the Can You Chronicles, this podcast is 10 years old this year. Of course, didn't start off as Can You Chronicles, but this, me in the podcast stream and doing it, I started 10 years ago. Officially, I think, my first official ones were Can You Radio, we called it, with Kim Broski. If you've listened to the podcast, you know who I'm talking about. And so you can go back and listen to them. I see people still going back and checking them out. I love it. It's like, oh, cool, man. It's crazy that it's been that long. I would have had way more podcasts had I kept consistent at the time. But, life goes on. So here we are. But yeah, been as far as solid, really like active with it, I would say since probably more like 2015. That's been my strongest timeline from that point to now. So here we are, keeping it going, and only looking to be stronger, and we have some water, and really like make an imprint in this podcast world, ready to take it to, these next levels. Always got to think in those terms. So just jumping into this episode 214, guys. Remember, it wasn't just that long ago. I was really looking forward to hitting 100, and I remember also, like I said, it was tough because I knew that I had years in terms of I already knew about this, I already did it, and but I remember, as I'm going to that 100, I'm just like, man, I should have already, you can't help. You get hard on yourself about it, and but I wasn't deterred. I was already past the point of that wasn't a hurdle for me anymore, and I share that because I think that's a hurdle for a lot of people, most people, natural, and I think it could be natural in a way because we get hung up. We get hung up on our own failure about something, or we perceive it as a failure, which, in that case, like I said, it's not a failure. I started it. I already had it continued. I was continuing to pay for the service. I obviously continued to do them at times, but I just didn't create that consistency. And even if it was, and I was really, I was going to be happy with 2 times a month consistency if I would have just kept that going, so, or twice a month, I should say. Any bit of consistency like that, I just didn't really create there for most of that time. And I just made that change. I just had to, be determined and say, you know what, I'm going to make this a new habit. So that's basically it. That's basically it, to be very simple about it. So if you are, in the similar boat with something, whether it's a podcast or maybe another thing that you've done over the years, or did it at one point, and you feel like you want to go back to it or whatever, talk yourself into it. Give it a chance again. And you have to give things an honest chance, because most likely, especially when it's something that's kind of a hobby, most likely in many cases you're not, especially depending on when you did that, most of the time for those things, you're not really giving it a true chance, like you thought you might have, So just really consider that. Now, obviously, everybody's going to have different thoughts and things about that, depending on what it is. There's some things you may had to have moved on from, and that's okay, and you're cool with that. You just don't need to revisit it. But whether it's that or just starting up a new thing, maybe this is something you want to get into. Maybe you're also like, man, I could podcast. This guy's just talking or whatever. I could do a similar thing. Hey, definitely do it. Please. The podcast community will welcome you with open arms. Everybody has stories and thoughts to share that you'd be surprised who that may help, or you just don't know. You don't know what can come of your words, truly, especially if you put it out there. I'm not going to get all the feedback. I don't get much feedback from you guys, from you, online. You're more than welcome. And by the way, speaking of that, if you want to, hit me up, and it's part of it is me too. I need to create the engagement myself sometimes. So I'm not trying to put it just on the podcast listeners. So, don't take it any kind of way, but you could hit me up at Great Nate on Instagram. That's GRTN, the number 8. And then on Twitter, it's at Can You Chronicles. Trust me, I'll do my best. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. It's fine. But I need to provide some more things to kind of encourage that on there. I do believe I see some of you guys follow me, and I know some of you do for sure. But some of you guys I've known, already, or, you're strangers to me, but either way, you're not now, especially on for you guys, more, definitely going to know more about me than I know about you guys. But yeah, just to to go back to that point when it comes to your words and all that. So even though I don't, we may not have this back and forth conversation type thing online, and in many cases podcasts really don't. If anything, you're happy as a podcast or anything like this to get ratings and somebody going, hey, great job, stuff like that. And pretty much that's going to be the extent of it, unless I have a live podcast and people show up and, I get more famous in that way, or create something like that. I don't even have to be famous, but if I create some venues for that and start working it that way, then I can get to, be a little more one-on-one with you. But other than that, that's really how it's going to go. So I say a bunch of words like that to say, so don't worry about that. Your influence, it can still go, you'd be still surprised what somebody may get from something you said. We all get that, because we could all think of plenty of people, or at least I hope some of you can. Maybe not everybody can, but there's people that have come across you in your life that may have said something, may have shown you a certain thing, whatever, and it may not have been much to them, if at all. But to you, that's something that propelled you for the rest of your life off of a sentence, a few words, yeah. There's whether it's someone in your face that did that, or somebody like a music artist, like a song they did, something they said in a song, an interview you read, especially nowadays, it could be a tweet, it could be a video. So, these things do make differences, and and that goes with negative too. So if you're just on a feed and you're like, man, my social media, Twitter's this or that, and it's not that it isn't for a lot of people. Trust me, we all see the crazy, but at some point we all probably need to look at it and go, do I really need to read all this shit every day? Because mostly it's very much the same, and there's not much escaping that with things at large, but you could start choosing to kind of change your feed to hopefully be a little more positive if it's not, So I think that's a good thing to be conscious or aware of. But more importantly, we probably just need to spend that much less time on social media and get into reading again, and there's just other things to do. There's function for that. I'm not saying it's kind of something we got to do. Not everybody, but depending on what you're doing, you got to kind of still be plugged in. But throughout our day, the more you can kind of disengage, the better. And it's not that necessary. There's so many other things we all probably need to do in our life, whether it's a little thing, we get distracted. And it's not even social media too. People are playing games on their phones. I mean, who knows what kind of stuff's going on every day on people's phones around us, I mean, we have no clue. These people at work or something, I mean, really, I don't know what the fuck anybody's doing on their phone. They could be fucking they could be sex chatting, as far as I know, on Tinder or some other app, or a website, I mean, seriously. We don't think about that much, but really, you really don't know what somebody's doing. And we're not going to sit there and try to monitor that much, because it's too much. We're all kind of consumed in our own little versions of that. But usually, yeah, people aren't, I would say most people are being probably what you think they're doing. They're handling some business, or they're talking shit, or they're, you don't know what the fuck. You don't know what the fuck's going on. It's a crazy world. You could have a conversation with somebody and it seems all good, but they're sitting there texting, talking shit about you in front of your face. But you won't know it unless something sets you, but seriously, people could be that crazy, Oh, man. So I'm sitting here in this traffic right now, and there's a Oldsmobile. Let me look at this one. This looks, it's reminding me of old friends. I think they had an Oldsmobile, maybe, if I'm not mistaken, maybe. Very similar, but it's nothing great. This is like a 1990 or an 89, it's the boxy days of cars, and it's rough. I mean, it's in rough shape, but it's moving, so, it must, it's still got the right, the engine's still strong, I guess, or good enough. But, damn, he just got way ahead. I was trying to see what model. For all you car enthusiasts. And, speaking of, I'm hoping to, I haven't discussed it yet, but I'm just going to start talking it up, because that's how things get going, kind of. But I need to get my brother-in-law Shanye on. He's the car man, like big time. It's got a lot of history in the car culture out here. Really want to get him. It's something I should have done already at least a few years ago at this point. But hey, no time's better than now, as they say. So yeah, hopefully I'll get him on soon, and I kind of want to, because it's also a thing want to inspire the cat to get back into that world more, and I know it's something that he really has been itching to do, so we'll see, baby steps, but a podcast, definitely a great way to start it off, and it could make it simple for him. All I have to do is just show up. So yeah, just putting that out there, but I don't, I'm sure you guys would enjoy that. I would hope so. Yeah, we would cover car styles and trends and what the like the history of the car clubs, and I mean there's a ton of stuff we could talk about. So that would be and it would be probably an extra podcast. I wouldn't make it just especially if I would oh God, my words today. I wouldn't like just do that podcast and just not do this. It would be additional, basically. If I would end up doing multiple podcasts with him, if we started kind of making it a monthly thing or bi-weekly, it would be additional. I would want to keep doing this one, but have that one also. So that's kind of what I'm looking to do more of, guys. So they're, just a little heads up. No promises just yet. It's something that I'd rather just, hey, you'll just go, oh, he's doing it now, or okay, Nate's back to just Solocast. No, I mean, that's I'm sure you guys, get used to, hearing a certain thing, just like any of us. So I don't want to jerk anything around for you, and you're like, oh, come on, man, But I can't please everybody. I don't even know if half you guys even give a shit about this podcast sometimes. But I just it's just how I am, man. I'm going to let you know what's kind of on my mind with that stuff. So, big deal. No, it's cool. So, man, this traffic today is, yesterday and today, is really, really jacked. I think it's really just, I don't think there's much of anything to say. It's just the amount of people, and 30 minutes. They're still saying 30 minutes from here. Hold on, this is bullshit. Let me see here. No, it still has me at home. Let's see what it says now. 10 minutes. Okay, yeah, that's right. I'll just leave that on as my buffer. It's kind of nice to see it when I need to, the map, because you start going, oh shit, is something else going on? It's kind of good to have a map, even if you know where you're going. It's kind of good to have your maps on, because in case something really does go down, you get the heads up. Not like you could do much of anything, but at least you'll know. So yeah, so that's pretty much what's going down, guys. But I'm gonna pause for now. This is just the first part, and we'll be back in a minute. All right, guys, continuing on here. It's the end of my day. Yeah, so end of my day 2 of long day. But really good. Went pretty quick. So that's a good thing. And it's Friday. Oh, it's officially Friday right now. So that's also kind of cool. Even though, go. What are you doing? Sorry, guys. Usually nobody's here. Somebody stopped. I'm turning from one street. There's a curve in the street that I'm going on, and the people, I mean, they obviously never have been here, I guess. They just stopped in the middle of the road. Like, oh, go ahead, just weird stuff, of course. Again, these are those moments. I wish I had a camera set up for you guys, but nothing right now. Anyways, so don't mind me. Sometimes if I'm pausing or like lose my train of thought, it's because of how people are driving on the fucking road. And same people in my fucking way. I do not know what they're doing. And they do not know what they're doing, obviously. So it makes me really a bit nervous driving around people like this. I'm just going to stay away from them. They're ahead of me here. Anyways, yeah, so even though it's Friday, still got my continuous work schedule here for now, and but it's still a nice thought because I know that it's going to be at least a bit lighter for the next few days after. Sorry. Alright, I'm just getting past them. God, please let them find wherever they're supposed to go. They just seem really lost. Or a bit lost. I mean, they're on the road, they're where they are now, so hopefully they know. Yeah, I don't know. Crazy. So, so Thursday night, football, NFL season kicked off today. And, with the Bears and the Packers. And I don't know if it was in Chicago, I think. I didn't watch any of it. I just kind of checked in. But apparently did not miss a damn thing. It didn't sound like it was a good game, much of a good game at all. Packers won. Kudos to them. Bears, I don't know. It sounded like there was a lot of fuckery, probably on both sides. But yeah, kind of a dud start to the season. But I get a kick out of it. I don't know if I just said it in the previous podcast or whatever, and it doesn't matter. But I kind of like it, especially in these times of the year. But it could be all year that these things can happen. But I love it especially like early on when everybody's really excited, or in the Super Bowl, and pretty much those two times, because those are kind of your most hyped, build-up times, But I kind of like when this happens, where you have a dud game. Just kind of like set, kind of gets you back in reality of like, well, this is what can happen. Not every football game is so amazing, and they really aren't. It's a cool game. It can be awesome, but you can't manufacture. It's not the WWE. You can't manufacture this brilliant game, week in and week out. So it's just a reality check. And the thing is, especially nowadays, and it really goes across any sport or anything that's promoted and broadcasted, but the stakes are even higher. There's so much money being spent. There's the beautiful high def, 4K, I don't know, whatever they're shooting stuff in now. All this just fantastic coverage and angles and everything else. But at the end of the day, when it gets down to it, shit flops too, just the same. Not everything's a hit, shit fucking goes down just the same. So, I like it, man. It's got to keep things humble, or at least give some reality to it. But, and the other part is now all tomorrow, these talking heads, they gotta sit there and talk about this lackluster game, and oh man, it's so cool. But this weekend we'll make up for it, because there's, all the football games. I think it's, and quite honestly, I know Thursday night football exists, but man, why not just wait till the fucking weekend, man. Let Sunday come up and really start it off then. That's a bit of my pet peeve. I think that's the football season. That's how it should start. Not fucking Thursday night football, or even Monday night for that matter. Start that shit Sunday, bitch. Like how it is, where you got all these fucking games, and you're gonna have some good games out of that. It's not gonna just be, you're stuck with one fucking bullshit game. And I could have told you just by telling, the Packers and Bears in Chicago, yeah, probably not gonna be great. I kind of figured it. I was like, not surprised. Now, we'll see what goes on. It's just the first game, but it's just, it's just funny. So that's that. I don't have stats and all that for you guys, but yeah, I don't need to talk about it. I'm definitely not going to put time into games that are like whoop-de-doo. I mean, now for the division, for those two teams, it definitely means something to them, especially as the season grows, and that could be a game later on. You go, shit, we needed that. So it does count. I mean, it all counts now. It definitely does count. But, the first few weeks of football, you kind of can, you can deal with some loss here and there, you definitely don't want to be 0-5, though. You don't want that. Yeah, that's going to be a hard turnaround to make. But more exciting news in NFL, and I was already started covering it, but I've got some further listening on it. Antonio Brown's situation is growing each and every hour. So now the Raiders have suspended him for the first game, so he will not be playing in the first game. And it's falling down pretty quickly, and they are definitely this is going to get, it already is ugly, and I think they're definitely looking for any next mishap, because they're going to go right after that money. They're going to go after him, and I believe it. I think it's going to happen. Just because he hasn't shown me anything else otherwise this season, and it's crazy. As much as he's had some issues with the Steelers a little bit, this is pretty crazy. I mean, it hasn't stopped since they let him go, and it's gotten worse. So it's really, I don't know. I mean, I don't know though. I really have a feeling. I felt this way kind of when the trade happened. It was in my mind, but it was kind of like, well, this guy's he is good. He's a beast, he's a professional. He plays the game, but there was something in me going, well, I don't know if this guy really, I don't know. It felt like, does he even care anymore? For him to have let things get the way they did, and just the way he dealt with the Steelers, I was surprised it ended up like that. I could have seen, us maybe dealing with some antics from him in the next couple years, or however much he would have had left with us. But I kind of felt he would have just played it out, before things happened, of course. But at this point, with this stuff that's going on with the Raiders, now when he got to the Raiders, I was just like, okay, buddy, good good luck. That this isn't, you're not in Pittsburgh now. Now you got a whole different situation, and I was like, this is like, to me now, the real test of who this guy is, and I was just like, and I just left it at that, like, let's see. And now seeing what I'm seeing and all that, it's like, I don't know, man. I think he might be, I don't know if he's scared to play again, or the reality of the team he's on has hit him, or what. I don't know what the hell. I don't think anybody could guess, but he's in trouble, man. So I don't be surprised if he doesn't play this year. And I know that a lot of fantasy owners are already losing their shit, but that was the chance you were going to take, I guess. So we'll see, but so far, no AB coming up, not this week. Now the other guy, our other former player, Le'Veon Bell, so far so good with the Jets. As far as I can tell, I think he'll be just fine starting out with them. Now with him, and I'm not trying to, and I don't want to talk shit, but I'm interested to see how he does too. I don't know. Is he gonna? Let's see how he starts acting up. I mean, he may play very well, but also that could backfire on him, because he was bitching about the touches basically with the Steelers. So are the Jets going to completely run the way he wants things to run? And and is he going to have a limited amount of touches, or if they see him doing well and things are moving and grooving, are they just going to push it and go, well, hey, you're the guy, man, let's go, we're riding your back? And I wonder at that point, will he be really that guy? I don't know. It's going to be interesting, especially as much time as he had off. But I know he's capable. I just wonder now, again, is he going to have it in him? In these situations, it's not about just them. The points are being made out there, so it's nothing brand new that I'm saying too, but it definitely makes the case again for owners to be like, see, you give guaranteed money, and this is the issue we have, So it's gonna, it can hurt other players coming up, current and ones coming up in the league. So we'll see. Of course, I'm getting ahead on Le'Veon. I don't want to, I'm not looking anything. I don't want anything negative. I don't want anything negative on both of them. I'll keep saying that. I'd love to have seen, or I'd like to see both of them play a season healthy, and whether they do well or the team does. I don't care about that. I just, as players and all this talk and everything else, do it. Keep it up. Keep showing, do what you were doing for the Steelers. Now you're on these teams, or at least be I just want to see you be a professional. That's all I'm saying. And they don't have to do nothing. It's not about doing anything for me or any other former fan. But it would, at the least, I would have, you'd have a little bit of respect to me. To me, I can't speak for any other fan, but that to me is what all I look is like, hey, especially with the way that all went down with both of those cases, is like, all right, do your thing, good luck, whatever, right? And they respectively go to these teams, and then they actually go and perform. Maybe they do inspire, and whatever, I'd be like, I look forward for something like that. I'd be like, hey, good for them, man. All right, I'd be like, that's what's up. Like, that's what you should do. You're the man. But I don't know, man. At least in AB's situation, that looks very far from what's going to happen. Bell, the potential's there. He has a chance. He can be that guy. So I hope he does. I hope he really, I hope he does well, and I hope he wants to really play. It's got to be tough. It's got to be tough. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, you're still, being a relatively young guy. Yes, you're super talented. You're in good shape. Great health, all these things, or so to speak. But and now though, you got all this money, and you're tempted of like, dude, I don't need to do shit. And you may live kind of simple, or you have some shit, but you're not out way beyond your means. Your situation's cool. You're able to sit on some money and set yourself up for the rest of your life, and goes on and on. Because the other thing is, there's all these other business deals they get, all kinds of things. If you have any marketing skills, or have some good people in your corner, basically, that there's no real reason any, especially your popular guys like those two, like, you definitely should be good for life. Like, no fucking doubt, okay? Most any of these players really should have that opportunity, quite honestly, or be able to, I mean, things happen. Not everybody makes, the biggest contracts, but, I'd say in a large portion of cases, if you have any kind of smarts about you, you should be pretty much good, or at least, you're not sweating it. You can get by. Let's put it that way, and not just get by, but get by pretty well. But we'll see, man. We'll see what these guys are about. This will be this season, but it gets getting back to the Steelers. It's just, hey, I think it's great there. I bet you what a weight lifted off. I'm sure they're seeing all this, and I'm not saying they're happy or whatever. They may be not even looking. They're not even focused on it at all. But I'd have to imagine to some degree they're just going, woof, thank God we're not dealing with that. At least A-B situation. Le'Veon's different. But even so, I still think it's somewhat that, just because just a little too wild cardish because of what he was already doing. And they don't have that now. You got a guy like Connor. He's a nose to the grindstone guy. And, he's really entrenched in Pittsburgh. I mean, the guy played at Pitt and everything. So, I mean, he's pretty much been raised there in many ways. But just hold that thought, and I'll be back in a minute. Hey, good morning, you guys. just going to be finishing up this podcast. Not going to be too long this one, but anyways, it's Monday morning. Excuse me if I'm sound a little tired. It's just I woke up a little bit ago. Just taking a walk. Gonna go get some shit from the store. But just had to make sure to record this, especially right now since it went down yesterday. But my Steelers and Patriots game was a dud. Well, at least for me. But just glad I was busy at work. Man, what a bummer. I did watch parts of it. I saw a decent amount. I saw a pretty good amount. Enough to see that the offense just did nothing. As much as as much as I want to give credit to, or I have to give credit to the Patriots defense for doing what they were supposed to do, but also it's still, I don't know, man. It's ridiculous. Just things out of sync, obviously bad play calling, everything. Just nothing. And the defense, they're getting some blame and talked about, but I'm really not going to be that hard on them, actually. I think considering what they were up against and not having any help, like zero help on the offense, I mean, I don't have to look up time possession, but even still, you have to score points. In this league anymore, I don't care how good your defense is. We've seen this for some years now. It's not even just this year or whatever. But you could have a really good defense, but I'm sorry, nobody's winning anymore just on defense. It never has been the case, let alone. Steelers have had great teams when they had not so great offenses, and they had some pretty good ass defenses, but that didn't necessarily do it for them in those days either. So same, and it's even harder now. So, and the credit I give them is, hey, they kept New England to 4 field goals. That's 4 more possible scores they could have had. So you gotta give them some credit. And like I said, they were probably pretty fucking tired of being out there. So, and you're against the Patriots. So, I mean, it's the little bit of light I can give them on that, but it was just a bad game. Just a bad game. And I'm trying to just leave it at that. Just go, hey, bad game. Hopefully, hopefully they can do better from here. It's gonna be, god damn it, I'm trying to cross the street here, sorry, there's fucking cars coming from every which way. So sorry guys for the interruption, but I'm trying to make this happen on the fly. But yeah, they I'm just going to treat it for the game it is and just go, hey, regroup and go from there this week. We got Seattle coming in. So, I'm looking at the schedule. It's a pretty wild schedule. I think they got something where it's Seattle at home, and then they got to go to San Francisco, and then they come back, and then they got, I think, Cincinnati, and then it's like a little wild, and then they come back out again to the west, to the Chargers, which I could go see, but I will not after seeing that. Plus those tickets they're trying to sell for it are so high, it's not worth it to me. I'm sorry. I don't think so. Especially this, I don't want to see a beatdown. Because the Chargers are real good. They're a tough team, so I don't know. I don't know. It's too much. about $300 a ticket, man. I'm sorry. It's like in another day and time maybe, but yeah, not right now. So yeah, kind of a bummer, man, because I'm as you've heard me talk, I sounded optimistic. I still am. I really am. Because I think they do got some good young talent. It's just we'll see if they can put the pieces together, man. But they should be looking for a free agent out there on wide receiver, just because maybe a couple guys, but yeah, I don't know if they'll do that. That's not really how they work. When it comes to that. But they're going to have to... I would imagine that has to be on the table at this point, though. And why wouldn't they? But yeah, that's about all I can say about it, man. I don't know what else to turn over, but I don't even want to say congrats to the Patriots. I'm tired of them. I don't know. It's just funny. They're one of the only teams that I could think. I guess just because of the success is so big. But and again, this doesn't speak to all those fans, but I see a number of them. Kind of comment like, "Why hate?" Kind of comments in a way where it's like, "Hey, you should be appreciating." You should be appreciating this. Something in those lines. What do you think? Everybody all of a sudden from other teams are going to go, "Oh, you know what? Yeah, good job, Patriots." No, it's not going to happen. It's never really ever happened like that, anyways. When Montana was throwing it down, or Troy Aikman, you didn't have opposing team fans go, "Hey, good job, guys." They might have said they're good or whatever, but they're not going to come over to your side or whatever. So, anyways, but I've decided I'm going to try, and I may not be able to do it because, hey, there's certain games you do want to see, but I'm really going to try not to watch any games with Brady from here on out for the rest of the time he's in the NFL. I'm going to try. But for sure, I think when we play them, I really think I'm not going to even tune in. But at least I don't have to worry about that until the playoffs, maybe, or next season. But I'm serious. If we get to the playoffs this season, we play them. Probably going to try not to even bother because it's too frustrating. And then if we win, it's always if we happen to win, it's never going to be we're going to be fighting tooth and nail to win. It's going to be one of those deals. So, yeah, I'm not interested. Not so interested. And people could, you could say, "Oh, you're not a real fan," or that's great. That's fine. I really don't give a shit. So, just keeping it real. But hey, I'm pulling for them. Obviously, I want them to do better. I'll still be watching a good portion of the games this year, no doubt, or I'll try to. But yeah, I'm not gonna go crazy on it. So, all right, guys, let me stop for now. Actually, I'm going to wrap it up in general. But again, you guys, thanks again for listening. Go to my Instagram at GRTN8. That's Great Nate. And you could also follow me on Twitter at CanYouChronicles. Just make sure to subscribe and share. Any reviews is gratefully appreciated. And that's it. Thanks for rocking with me. Take care. Have a good week.